We live in a world of sight. What we see is what's valuable. It's true. It's real. In a world of sight, surface always outweighs substance. We live in a time when the photogenic are the shapers of our society. The most relevant people create our worldview, influence our beliefs, and even shape what we think about God. It's dangerous when we let sight become the determination of our substance, because far too often our eyes, they can be deceived. While sight may take more precedence today than ever before, the love for the seen is not a new fascination on our part. Humanity has always opted for the visual. That's especially true when it comes to things of faith. Having a visual confirmation is far easier than having a faith in the unseen. The promised coming of the Messiah was the great hope of believers everywhere. Finally, they would see him. Finally, their doubts would pass away and their eyes would confirm what their hearts had long desired. They had waited for an immortal Messiah, yet they got a baby. Humanity longed to look upon the face of God, yet when we didn't like what we saw. There was nothing about him that visually looked like a king. There was no beauty that drew us, no strength that wooed us, no power that overwhelmed us. God showed up and humanity let out a collective question of, is this it? This was more than humanity could ever hope for, but at first glance, it looked like far less. But that's okay. Christianity is not a faith of sight. It's a faith of sound. Hope is far more often heard than seen. And God did not tell the Israelites, "See, O Israel." He instead said, "Hear, O Israel. The Lord our God, the Lord is one." Deuteronomy 6:4. Jesus said on several occasions, "Let him who has ears hear." Paul asks the question, how then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one in whom they have not heard? Romans 10:14. And later he says, faith comes from hearing. Is it any wonder this world ignores Jesus? In this day of sight, Jesus doesn't draw a crowd. He isn't hated as much as he's just ignored. Jesus doesn't call out to this visual society and say, look at me, as much as he calls to us and says, hear me. He speaks more than he shows. He whispers truth. At some point, everyone hears it. The suspicion that on our own we're not good enough. The faint sound calling us to something more than this world. The echo of love, which creates a desire deep into our soul to be known and accepted. It's the voice of God. We aren't good enough on our own. We need him. There is something more than this world. We can be known, accepted, and loved. This is the gospel message. But it doesn't come with the flash or the fireworks. Amid a visual world, God invades creation with a sound, a message, a proclamation, the word. The gospel story changes our vision, but it does so through our ears. We're not a people of sight. We're a people of sound, a people of story. We remember in this season the coming of the word. Hear the hope today.